I mean, it's a good city. It's a safe city. And I think with that safety comes a lot of, people who are able to afford safety, and with that, privilege and also, delusion of, what they're owed. And I think, in Edinburgh, you have a big distinction between, obviously uni students, and within that, the international uni students, and they're all in, quarter mile, and then you have your London students, and they're just like old money. But it is an interesting culture because it's like Russell Group, like Oxbridge rejects who are just here because they were able to afford tutors and stuff. And yeah, I think, there's a lot of, especially artists, who, it's just like minimalism and like corporate shit. And even, I mean, that's not to say that the art school doesn't have good artists, because they do. It's just that Edinburgh likes to have a clean nose, and it is just like they're more for England than they are for Scotland. And then I think I know the alternative community pretty well, having spent 4 years here. And I think in that you have the interesting class dynamic that Edinburgh brings. You have Edinburgh, and this is a tangent, but Edinburgh is like, say Glasgow is a city where poor people pretend to be rich, and Edinburgh is a city where rich people pretend to be poor. And I think that's kind of a weird dynamic. And obviously within that you have people who are actually Scottish and people who are from like, up north, and they've been through it. And I think I don't want to do the Glasgow thing and romanticize pain, but as an artist I have to. I think there are a lot of great Scottish artists who happen to be in Edinburgh, happen to flock here because of the resources. And I mean, it is a great university for resources and stuff. And but they will swipe you under the rug if you're making cool visionary shit. It's just, don't come here for art. Don't come here if you're alternative, because there are like 5 alternative people that are like actually sound, and then the rest are just fucks. The rest are just weird. I mean, that's not fair. I mean, I don't know, like I don't know. I think overall arrogant, and I mean, you get some people that are just really nice and just really like hardworking. Like if you go to any like shop, like there are people who genuinely like want to help you and want to, make people happy. But it is sad how the city just does not care about the people. And you see that on Leith Walk, where they totally like bulldozed the like main street. And I was saying earlier, Leith is where all like the real Scottish people live, because they jack the price up in Central and everyone has to leave. So yeah, in Central is just like a ton of, fucks. But yeah, it is just like the city and the university loves to spit in the face. Oh fuck. Oh yeah, no, it's still going. Loves to spit in the face of like people who are actually hardworking and real people. And the whole culture of this city has reminded me that you need to be a narcissist and you need to not give a shit about anyone else if you want to get far in life. Because I mean, here is where people, they come from really good backgrounds. They have parents who teach them about economics. And those people like will only be friends with you if you're from a similar background, or if they're just trying to like rebel and, you know, be edgy and be, oh, I'm so alternative, I'm so poor, I'm so cool. And it is just like these rich kids are inauthentic. And obviously I'm an American in Edinburgh, so that means like, you know, I'm paying international fees to be here, so I am like, you know, from an upper middle class background. But I think I've been humbled just because, you know, the neurospicy experience of you know, being a queer neurodivergent person in the suburbs. So this does feel like suburban America, definitely, but with like horrible British people that sound like they're sucking cock whenever they speak. Glasgow, definitely. I mean, the dynamic. Do you want me to talk about that dynamic? So yeah, Glasgow is the real capital of Scotland, and I think, you know, the dynamic between Glasgow and Edinburgh is interesting, and it's almost like Munich and Berlin, because that's where the real people are, in Glasgow. And I think people are starting to realize that real people and like cool artists and people who are bringing it in music, like Sophie, you know, the death of Sophie kind of brought eyes to Glasgow. And I'm not saying that's why it's being gentrified, but like Glasgow is now being gentrified because people in Edinburgh are, I mean, like me, like people like Edinburgh are graduating and they're like, fuck Edinburgh, I want to go to Glasgow. And, you know, people like me, I have supportive parents, so I can go there and I can, you know, live comfortably, while the actual people who live there, you know, it gets harder and harder to live there, and then people move out. It's, you know, gentrification. But, you know, Glasgow is, I think there are issues with Glasgow as well, like people romanticizing their pain, and, you know, social climbing alternative people who, you know, it is toxic. Glasgow is a toxic place, 100%. I mean, you have like cool based alt kids though. So if you're into like seeing some weird kid with like insane like rave pants and like a insane cut, like haircut and like piercings all over their shit, go to Glasgow. But, you know, Edinburgh is probably where you're gonna get your, you know, I mean, like rich rapists, honestly. like people are fucked here. Hopefully this doesn't get you demonetized. I really have no filter. But yeah, I mean, this city, it doesn't really, it's totally elitist. And, you know, if you look hard enough, you'll find your people. And hey, I came here because I wanted to see like the cool goth graveyards. Like, the graveyards here are sick. Like, the history here is sick. I'm into, like, paranormal shit. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, you know, when I was excited I got into Eddie Uni, I was like, let me look at all this, like, paranormal, like, you know, I went down, like, the rabbit hole. And, yeah, I just think it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Just go to Glasgow. Like, you don't have the pretty, you know. I mean, but there's always, like, work. There's always work being done on the roads and shit, and it's just like constantly, you know, and they'll do work in like the areas where, like Leith, for example, circling back on that, Leith is like the main stretch of where actual Scottish people can afford to live there. And of course the city put on the biggest like construction project ever right down the middle of it, when there's a street right next to it that they could have done it at. And it is just like, yeah, it's just, you know, a city that cares more about its tourists. Like my friends had an eviction scare. Should I wrap it up? Okay.
No, just go.
Oh, okay, just keep going. My friends had an eviction scare. They live in Grassmarket, and, you know, these are like some of the only Scottish people that go to Edinburgh Uni. And what, I mean, I guess that Grassmarket is like Diagon Alley, you know, so it is like a miracle that they have like a flat there. And their like ex-landlord, because I guess like, you know, they keep eating the big fish, you know, big fish, small fish, big landlord corporation, you know, and then it's like an Airbnb. But yeah, a guy was basically trying to buy the whole lot, and you know, my friends just got an eviction notice, and they were like, you need to get out of here by the end of the month. And of course that's just like, you know, they're already into their overdraft. It's just horrible. Like, they don't actually, like, how can this be a city for, like, the capital of Scotland? Like, how can it's just not right. Like, if they're actually going to kick out its own, and students as well. But yeah, it turned out that